So this is the story. This is the story of the most harassment, prejudice, discrimination, racism, jealousy in the history and horror story of this God-forsaken planet. And now Peter knows, exposed, what it was like for the African Americans. Not in this modern day. In this modern day, the coolest, best thing in the history of the world, hurled and unfurled, is to be an African American. Because they have most of the gifts and riffs you want in a lifetime jaunt. And that's why so many light-tanned humans, from ever since they were placed on ships in their own shit and piss and stacked like potato chips to try to make them feel humiliated and humiliated and more than any humiliated. And then came the KKK days, and they were hated and hated and hated and discriminated and discriminated. But why? Why were these people so beautiful and talented? Hated, and discriminated against to the most disgusting, crass-ass ways. You're not allowed on the bus. All right, get on the back. You have to have your own bathrooms. You're not allowed in this motel or this hotel. Let us take your music and put our names on. We're not going to let you in our baseball league or our football league or our basketball league because you're better letter for letter. Because now we know they pass more lifetime tests. Not all of them. All the people who have the most fun lives with very little strife. And so now we all know, exposed. And so now Peter Sweet, and me speaking through him, Peter Palpin, the one and only leader, the one and only heart bleeder. I've exposed Peter to the most discrimination, the most prejudice, the most harassment, and the most jealousy. Yes, from sea to shining sea, from sea to shining polluted sea. We are hated, and more than any discriminated and hated against. And the main reason is because I made Peter Sweeter Pal Pun my number one hun. And he looks like a superhero, but not any superhero. The coolest superhero, American Indian, not man, not Peter Sweeter Pal Pan, Sweeter Peter Pan, never gonna be a man. It's the superhero, American Indian boy, but not any boy, the one and only Tarzan boy. And so tonight, we went into the restaurant we always go to. And last night we were told, oh yeah, tomorrow night we'll be up until 10:30 to the restaurant. In other words, the cook will still be cooking at 10:30. And so I spoke to Peter and goes, okay, we'll have a table, our normal table here with the fan. Not the fan for Peter Sweeter Pal Pan, but a fan to cool. And so, well, they're always at a duel with the ego, the envy, the jealousy, the unfriendly. In other words, they lied. So we walked up there today, just now, Al Capal, and it was closed, exposed. So we walked across the street to the most popular restaurant in this ugly, smugly, fugly city, of shitty, and non-pity, and non-witty. in Dominican Republic. But the people here don't even tick as evil and disgusting and despicable as in the USSA when it comes to the one and only and Pete Sweetie. And so we went into that restaurant, and you'll see in the video blatant harassment and discrimination and insane jealousy. And so Pete Sweetie loves it, the more evil and the more despicable and the more crass-ass and the more disgusting they treat us means the more jealousy and jealousy and jealousy. It all comes down to the jealousy. So jealousy, CC, even CC, Sierra is jealous of the skin of sweeter Peter Palpin, like Justin Bieber and his ugly, smugly, fugly, insane jealousy wife, not the Smythe. And Madonna, who hates the one and only Your Honor, and Grim Stefani, me, and Harry Vile Styles, and the class-ass Ani Sins, and Jen Slurs, all hate the one and only pure, and the one and only cure, and the one and only God Almighty, because of He, Pete Sweetie. And so, yes, as I said from the beginning of this soliloquy, so hey, Pete Sweetie, now he knows how it feels. So fun to be hated and hated and hated and berated by the ids, like they did to the American, African, Americans, for years and years down there in the undare and unclear. And all the religions give their followers permission to sin and sin and sin, and even to be prejudiced towards a human being's skin and muscle tone and face and waist and every other place. How could people be so evil? How could people be so evil? How could religions be so evil? To forgive any evil as long as you follow some moronic rule set by ghouls and stools and mules and more than any fools and more than any cruels. And no human being with all the guns and arms and bombs and bombs and guns and guns and bombs and bombs and guns and all the 4,000 plus moronic cartel godfrogs can beat us or defeat us or deplete us. And the worst for them, they cannot defeat us. And so our story, love continues on our end, and continues on the darks like Marky Mark, not parked in the one and only ark, always parked in the dark, not with the one and only spark.